Okay, we are live. And just going to get the Amazon one going here. All right, there we go. So we're going to continue on a theme today. And I'll wait for people to pop in here. So the theme is more of these game controllers, and I got one for Android today because we looked at the Backbone. I'll get that one over here so you can see it. And the review of the Backbone, which is this one's going to go up tonight. So this one was for the iPhone. They don't have an Android version, but the Razer Kishi was one that everyone suggested I take a look at. So I bought one. This one's actually a lot less expensive. And what's funny is the one with the Xbox sticker actually costs a little bit less than the one without the Xbox sticker. So this is $66.49 versus $69.83. So get your deal. Save your $3 if you're in the market for one of these things. Let me just get my chat thingy going here, and we'll say hello to some friends, and then we'll get to work on this. See what this thing's all about. So William Wilkinson is here. Dava is here. Waldeck is here. Sorry. Connor is here. So yeah, we're going to open this up and play with it. And William says, "Is Razer still a good brand?" Yeah, I think so. You know, I got one of their keyboards upstairs. They make a lot of stuff. They've got a lot of products with a lot of weird names. I kind of liken their naming convention to like IKEA. They always have these weird names for their products. Flood of Sins is here. Joshua Cardona is here. Bonjour. Yeah, so we'll open this up in a second and see what's inside. Figured I would let everybody come in to the chat as we start messing around with this thing. And today we're going to use this Android phone. This is the Pixel 4. And the reason why I want to try this one first is that this is the largest phone that I currently have in the collection. And in full disclosure, Google sent me this phone when it came out about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. But I also bought this with my own funds. So I bought this. The phone came in from Google. So yeah, so I figured we would just kind of hang out for a few minutes, and then we'll get cooking. And just checking to see did my stream drop out for a second? Let me know if it did. So I got a no data warning, but that might have been when I first started. So we'll see what happens there. All right, we got some. Oh wow, Flood of Sin says Newegg stock just popped 600% in the last 7 days. They announced they're going to do on-demand. Well, that's interesting. You can do an on-demand PC assembly build. You know what's funny about? I guess they have the parts. Why not do it, right? Because if you think about it, that was Dell. That's what Dell did. They would make on-demand PCs in Texas. I think they still might do some assembly there. But that's an interesting idea. Hey, you know what? Saved you some time. Go for it. Although I don't know who that. I think who that would attract. This is a good question, because the serious PC gamers are not going to go for that, right? But I think who would go for that would be you know, the kids that don't know how to build a PC, or the parents that want to buy a PC for the kid. The kid can make a parts list and have Newegg put it together for them. I'm surprised the stock went up 600%. I don't know if it's that good of an idea, although there's probably some margin in it. But you got labor costs. Like that's going to be expensive, especially if you do it in California where they're located. So I don't know how they're going to. I mean, what the justification would be for the stock price hike. I don't see that being a large margin business unless they're going to charge a lot for it. William said it did drop out for a second, huh? All right, we'll have to see if we have router problems again. David Langley is here. So that concerns me. I've never had, there's David. I've never had it drop out on my new connection here. Oh, yeah, it's going in and out. Are we having connection problems again? Let me check my feed here, because it looks like it says my connection quality is poor. Although it could be the fact that we have a still image up on screen, but let me check my control panel here. Yeah, no, my uptime is fine. So I think It might just be a YouTube glitch. So we'll see if this goes away. Let me switch over to this view where there's more motion. So what happens on YouTube, just so you all know how this stuff works, is that the video compression doesn't send data that it doesn't need to. That's how the compression works. So when I have a still image up like this, if it's moving around, there's a lot of updating of the screen, so that will result in more data being sent. And then if it's still, then it's not transmitting as much data. But it's weird that it could just be that they updated their screens here, because it looks like a more serious issue than it would otherwise be. And my system here is not reporting any problems. Let me check my performance graph here. I think we're okay. So, well, we'll just go ahead and unbox this thing and get moving. But yes, we got another game controller. That was B. Tabalba, one of our regulars. Yeah, I bought this one the other day because I figured, you know what, everyone was talking about the Kishi, and this has been out for a while, but I haven't played with it. So we'll see what it looks like. And Danny Rea is here. Hello there. G. Lopez, everything looks great on the Amazon app. Yeah, I think we're fine. I think that message I got was due to just a lack of motion in the scene. So I think we're okay. And William's got a job interview coming up at Frito-Lay. Good luck. A Zoom interview. So that might mean you can't come and visit with us as often if they hire you over there. Yeah, we have a Frito-Lay in my state. I think in Enfield, Connecticut, there's a Frito-Lay plant. All right, so let's open it up. See what's inside. Now this one is the Android version. There is a version for the iPhone as well. All right, so let's read the instructions here. Pull both of the release latches to expand the controller. Note, to collapse, see the important product information guide included in the package. All right, we'll check that out in a second here. So we've got the controller itself, and this thing, oh, that's kind of, I can see it's kind of brittle. To expand the controller, see reverse side for instructions. Ew, okay, so it doesn't, so when we were looking at the backbone, they call it the backbone because it's got a backbone. This one's got kind of like a floppy, and I guess, the challenge is, of course, that when you're on an Android phone, everyone's phones are different, right? So you have to have something flexible versus the other thing where it's an iPhone. Everybody's got kind of the same deal. Well, let's look at the instructions, how this works. And there's, if anybody wants because this won't work for me because it's only for new members, but if you want 14 days, here you go. You can type that in and get 14 days. First one gets it. And we got some Razer stickers and the instruction book. So I think I might want to read this about how to collapse it. So let's take a look here. All right, so you need Android 8 or higher. So push both latches, which I did, and then to install your phone, detach your phone, collapsing the controller. When not in use, you can collapse the controller by bringing its two sides together, making sure the tabs are in the middle. So let's try that real quick and see how we can, oh, I see. So they kind of overlay over each other. It's a little origami kind of thing. And they come together, and then you snap that down. Because they're nice and Bluetooth controller. So this is strictly a all right, so I just started it back up. And let's see what goes on there. But if you're watching on Amazon, let me know if you're having stuttering. Because I think it's just a YouTube problem. Because I'm not seeing any network problems on my end. So let me know. Okay, so we know how to take it apart and how to put it back together again. Now the big question is, will my phone fit in this with its case? Because that was something that we dinged the other one on. And this, okay, so this will stretch. This is like a stretchable material. See that? It's really neat how different companies try to address these challenges of making this stuff work. Yeah, so this phone's not going to fit in here unless I take it out of the case. So this is another case removal thing. Okay, so G. Lopez says no problems on the Amazon side. So it looks like this is strictly a problem with YouTube at the moment. So I think YouTube's having some trouble. Okay, so if you're having trouble on YouTube, I'll pin this on the YouTube thing, and you can watch on Amazon. A lot of times people say the Amazon stream works better for them. And I got to log into my phone here real quick, and let's try this out. And I got to research the case question on this a little bit more, but it appears as though if you have a case, it is not going to work on this controller. So it's rather wide. This is my, again, the largest phone that I own, but it feels pretty good. So let's load up, we'll do the Sonic the Hedgehog thing again, and then we'll try some Game Pass. So let me find Sonic here. I know I have it on here. I haven't used this phone in a while. Let's turn the brightness up a bit too. Oops. All right, here we go. Okay. And we got some comments here. So Anti-Calgary says that they bought this controller for their iPhone and the Xbox Remote Play, and it works great. Cool. We're going to try that out next. Wants to know my age. And this is, we're going to try this Sonic game first, and then we'll move into the rest of them here. But once you take the phone out of the case, it fits pretty nicely. But this is another one of those things where you can't have a case. At least a large one. So, all right, hang on a second, folks. Let me just agree to whatever it's asking me to do here. All right. Now, we did Sonic 2 on the last one. This one we're going to do Sonic 1. It's got a huge D-pad. Look how big that is. All right, we'll let this continue here. Anthony Gwynn says the D-pad is not great. Yeah, you know, it's, as I'm playing with it, I am not liking it. Now, I'll have to see how it actually plays when we load the game up. So let's try the game and see how it goes. That's why I always like to start with this one, because this is like a real D-pad game. I will say that this feels larger and less comfortable versus the Backbone we looked at last. Yeah, I'm not, oops. Oh, I just screwed up there. So we got to make sure you hit the right buttons here too. Oh, come on. This is the, I'm too cheap to actually buy the app again because I already own it on the iPhone. They run ads all over the place in this game. Yeah, the D-pad is, it's too big, I think, is kind of the problem with it. It's not bad, it's playable. It feels a little, like, stiff, but it feels okay. I'll measure this later, but the input latency doesn't feel too bad on this either. Now, granted, this is a relatively current phone on the absolute latest version of Android, so... But it's definitely playable. But here's one thing I'm noticing. There's a little bit of flex to this side of the controller. I don't know if you can see that, but it moves a little bit. So the phone is like in where it's supposed to be, but it moves. You see that? So like, and that's the problem when you've got, you know, a bunch of different types of phones to support on it. So, hang on, I'm gonna get to this ad here. So every time you pause the game, you get another ad. But the game's free, so what do you want? I give Sega some credit here because they're trying to find like long-term sustainable revenue from their back catalog. So give them a little bit of a break there. But yeah, it's not bad. Let's see if I can use this this controller here. So this is a game where I always like to play with the D-pad. But I will say that, like the Backbone controller, the lag, a lot of times on Android in particular, is often very noticeable, and I'm not feeling it here. What you'll find on my review of the Backbone tonight, that's tonight's video, by the way, the Backbone controller, the latency on the iPhone is about the same as I measured on my Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons. So from a latency standpoint, it's very similar. And I won't know for sure until I do my little measurement thing with my high-speed slow-mo camera thing. But this feels, to me, at least initially, about the same as the Backbone felt on the iPhone. Like, this game is definitely one where I would detect some noticeable input latency. Now, it won't be as good as like my Mister on the CRT television upstairs when you're kind of just going direct to the CRT, but this is not bad. Oops, that was not good. But yeah, this feels pretty good. And apparently there's a Razer app we can download also, which we'll look at in a minute. Woo! Yeah, it feels good. I mean, you know, the D-pad's rather large. It's not as good as what I saw on the Backbone controller, but it's not offensive to me. But it is big. I mean, look how big that is. So there you go. We got some friends on Amazon here. Tony says it looks good on his Fire TV. Dave started following me. Thank you much for that. And Josiah says, hello, everybody. Those ads are loud, huh? So we'll try something else here in a minute. You know what we'll do next is, why don't we do Call of Duty. We'll kind of do the order that we did on the last stream. Well, I got Fortnite on here. Let's try that. I went through that arduous process of installing Fortnite, so we may as well play that, right? Although I think there's probably an update. Of course there is. Okay, so I've got to go connect to the Epic Games app. It's going to download the update. So we'll try that next. I'm pretty sure Fortnite works with game controllers, right? We'll find out in a minute. Yeah, so the fit isn't bad. So like if you hold the controller, like if you go this way towards the front, not bad. But like as you can see here, it moves a bit on the other end. So that's the only thing I've noticed here so far. And let's take some questions here. Got a bunch that popped in. Versified wants me to take a look at the iPhone one. May as well at this point, right? Is the iPhone one any different from a hardware standpoint, or is it just a Lightning connector versus the other thing? Let me know. Tony says, I love the Kishi, has the iPhone version, but the Backbone came out and I'm jealous of the software interface. Do I know of any other iOS game launchers? That's a good question. I don't think I do. I should look into iOS game launchers. I never even thought that you would need a launcher until I played with the Backbone. By the way, tonight's video is of the Backbone, so if you're curious about how this one works, I will say, and this is just my first impression, but at the moment, I do prefer the Backbone to the Kishi, partly because this is more rigid, and it just feels more comfortable than the Kishi does. However, the Kishi, in fairness, has to be designed to fit every phone in the world versus this one, which is just a few. But I like the Backbone quite a bit. However, this is like $30 more than the Kishi is. So that's a consideration. Bob says, retro gaming in VR is a wild experience. Yeah, there's some crazy ones out there. We did a 3D retro gaming thing recently. That was pretty neat. It was NES games that were running in that. It was really pretty cool. TV Man, you will find that the bigger the camera bump on the phone, the less chance the phone will fit. That is why I had a mod mine to get the Poco X3 Pro to fit into it. Had to cut some of the rubber. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to make a note of that. And that's the problem. And you know, it's hard for them to prepare for that, right? Because I'm just going to put my Google Doc together here. Because you've got a multitude of different phones that have to connect to it, right? So that's problematic. We're just going to update Fortnite here real quick. So we'll take a look at that. And Versified got his on a Prime Day sale. I should look at the GameSir X2. I haven't looked at that one yet, but I'm going down this rabbit hole, so we may as well, right? I met those guys from GameSir. Oh yeah, they've got a pretty cool looking one, actually. Huh. All right, maybe I'll reach out to them and see what they've got, because I haven't talked to them in a while. Super chat from Tony. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Versified says Lightning connector, but I wouldn't be surprised if the next versions of Yeah, so that's the one problem that I have with this thing, is that this is a Lightning connector. So how long will this be relevant with my phones before I have to get a new one? And you can't just swap them out. But again, I really like how comfortable this is versus this one. This isn't uncomfortable, but this is just more comfortable. And you'll see my review of this tonight, by the way. So I have tried the new Retro Arcade. Have I done that one yet? New Retro Arcade Neon VR. Let me see what that one is. Oh, that's a new game. I haven't seen this one. What is this? I'm just looking this up right now to see what this is all about. More color, more sound. Neon will poke your eyes out. Do I want to have my eyes poked out? That's the question here. Let me pull this up on the screen for you all to see. So we'll take a look at this real quick. I'll hit play on this. Personality transfer complete. Oops, wrong NDI. Hang on. 42 levels, nostalgia fueled. All right, hang on a second here, folks. Let me, and give me 1 second here. I'm just going to pull this up on my screen so you can see what this neon thing is all about. So let's go to NDI. Give me a second. I was got to put my computer on Do Not Disturb. Okay. So let's go to display 1. Okay, so let's check this out. This is Neon VR. This looks like right up my alley, I think. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, this would be something I could play around with. This is cool. It's kind of got like, I've seen a few other games like this that are kind of like, what's one I was thinking of? Rez? Rez is kind of like this, right? I have Rez. And there's a Tetris game that kind of has this style. That's pretty cool. We'll check that one out. We're still updating Fortnite here. I have not played Neon yet, but now I want to. Scorpion says, how are things? Things are good. We are just testing out the Razer Kishi here, doing a quick little update. And it looks like this has a charging port. Let's see if this works. This is charging only. Now there's no headphone jack on this one. So you'll have to use Bluetooth if you want to do the headphone thing. But let's see if the charging works. And let me go back to my thing here. So we'll hit the plug it in. And I think we're charging. Let's see. Yep, it's charging. So you can plug in and charge while you're playing your games. Jack is wondering, am I using the TriCaster? No, I actually switched to vMix, which is a software switcher that if you go on my channel, I did a whole thing on my current setup. And I am really liking vMix. In fact, I found it to be more versatile for the things that I do. It's kind of, I think it's, first of all, it's a lot more affordable. So what happened was my TriCaster was getting a little long in the tooth. The big issue that I ran into was they changed how it exported video, and that became a real problem for me because what we were doing for a long time was just copying the raw files off the TriCaster because I had a codec for the Mac, and then the Mac updated and NewTek did not update the codec. So then you had to convert the video to ProRes or whatever. And their export algorithm was all out of whack. And it was like knocking off the audio at the end of my videos arbitrarily. And it was a bug and they never fixed it. So I just felt like, I was small potatoes. So on a whim, I got vMix, downloaded the demo of vMix. They have like a 60-day demo. And I said, all right, I'm going to run the channel off of a gaming laptop for a week and see how it does. And I had no desire. In fact, I turned off TriCaster that Friday and never went back to it. That's how good vMix has been. And so now I've got one that runs in here, and then I've got another one that runs on a laptop, and I can take it anywhere. It's amazing software. And so we're streaming through that. Control-Alt-Terror-S is retro VR gaming is amazing in EMU VR. Yes, I have seen that. Is that out? Because I know that they were in like a beta for a while, just kind of teasing us. I guess it's still beta. I'm just looking through here. It's Windows only. How do you get it? Can you get it yet or not yet? Oh, so okay, you can be a Patreon, and then you can get it. I got to play around with this. Yeah, so this is kind of neat. So EMU VR. Here, I'll go full screen on this one here. So this is an emulator where you kind of play around like you're in a bedroom. Here, I'll show you the light gun one because that one looks like the most fun. So you have like this light gun. This is what you see in your headset. Isn't that cool? So you're running it on like a little TV, kind of like how it would have looked in the 90s or whatever. This looks so fun. Oh, I gotta get this. So somebody made, and we've played with this before. Somebody made a version of Duck Hunt that they ported. They turned it into a VR game and ported it over. It's really fun. I have it somewhere. I'll have to play with it again. Frederick Excellence says, do you think running the Eero Pro Wi-Fi system with Spectrum 1 gigabit will make the connection signal when... No, I don't think so. I think you should be able to pick up Wi-Fi with it. That should work. That should work. Thank you, Connor. TV's talking about that rubber portion. So here, the game is loaded up, by the way. So like so this portion here, I'm guessing, right, is what has to get kind of shaved down if you're... Yeah, I could see a big camera bump being an issue. There's not a lot of room there, is there? Now with this phone, the camera bump... Here, I'll give you the overhead. The camera bump on this phone is before it hits that rubber part, but I could see definitely how that could be a problem if your camera bump is higher. And that's the problem. Like they can't, they can't anticipate all these things, right? All right, so I got to go log into my Epic Games account now. And so this is going to be like a whole big production because I don't remember. Oh, I can autofill with LastPass. Okay, so I got to log into that. Hang on a second, everybody. And I'm probably going to have to get my two-factor out. All right, so now I've got to do this. And my LastPass. So I have to log into my LastPass, and then I can log into my other thing. And we got to go. Okay, hit that one. Now we'll log in, and then I can log in with this one. Log in now, and then I'm going to probably have to get another code because I have another. Right, I have an Epic Games two-factor. So we do that one. I have never spent a dime on any of the Fortnite stuff. In fact, I think most of the games that I got on Epic are free. But you have to install it with their game launcher. And TB points out correctly that the bottom portion is only power. So you can't plug headphones in there. That's right. And TB's talking about how they got their phone working in that mix. Jack says, am I going to sell the TriCaster? I probably am. I haven't, honestly, I have not used it in like over a year, but it's still perfectly functional. So I think I probably will sell it because it's just not, it's still a worthwhile thing there. Um, okay. And Connor's asking if they have one for micro USB. No, I think it's just USB-C, and then they have Lightning for the iPhone version. All right, I just want to play the game. I don't want to buy anything. Okay, so let's go. I leveled up. Great. Okay, so let's go. All right. They're always trying to sell you something, but I guess that's how they make their money. I got to give them credit though. They've been milking this thing for a while, and they're still making money on it. Okay, so let's play. And we'll see if we can get into one of these games here and see how this works. And then, oh, so some folks are talking about the arcade thing. New retro arcade neon, because that's what I was thinking of initially when you were talking about that other game. And that one's really hard to configure, isn't it? So, and it was kind of buggy and never went back to it. But I've been dying to like have like a Operation Wolf like in VR. I think that'd be a really fun way to play it. By the way, there's a lot of travel on these sticks. Yeah, it seems to work. So we got to wait for a few players to come in here. And we got to pick up some weapons here. There we go. I wonder if you can adjust the dead zones on these sticks. I'm guessing that you could probably do that with the app. Because the one thing I'm noticing, everything feels big. Like these sticks have huge amounts of travel on them. So you see like the dead zone here? So I probably would want to make them start moving a little bit earlier. And I've never felt the need to adjust sticks like that. But this one I'm feeling like I might want to. Let's see how long I last on this game. I haven't played this in a long time. Jake is the guy that helps me on the channel here. He's the one that plays all the games now. I do play games. I've been playing River City Girls with my daughters. And we've been playing, of course, on the Switch. We play all the other stuff. That's a pretty cool parachute I got now. See how long it is until somebody gets me. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to want to adjust the sticks here. Yeah, I got to say it's not bad. I mean, for the price point, it isn't bad. I don't like the way these triggers feel. Everything's got a ton of travel to it, and I guess if they're adjustable, that's fine. But it's fine. I've never wanted to adjust travel or dead zones before. So that's the one thing I'm noticing, is that you really have to move the stick here to get movement. But it's good. I mean, it's not heavy. You know, it's pretty well balanced. Now I get my weapons changed again. Oh no, I don't have a weapon yet, that's why. Let's go up here. Shouldn't I have an axe? How do you get the axe back? There it is, okay. All right, now I got a weapon. Okay, so let's see what we can do. I'm going for the axe. Oh, they got me. There you go. That's the extent of my skills. All right, so let's leave the match here. It's a pleasure. And we'll try something else. Mike.TV saw the reflection from the lights. Yeah, I got to adjust that a little bit. I was getting in the wrong spot, so I will try to do better. We are playing on a Google Pixel 4. And in full disclosure, Google sent this to the channel about 2 years ago. So there's not too much lag on the analog. I think the issue with it is that, and it's going to be how the game adjusts, but I think the issue with it is that there's a lot of there's a lot of travel to these sticks. I don't know if you can see this. I'll give you a different view here. There's a lot of travel to these sticks. They move a really long distance. So the backbone we were playing with the other day, it feels a lot like the Switch. There's not a lot of distance on these. There's a ton on this one, like a lot. So it's interesting. TV says they don't think that the app allows you to adjust the dead zone. So let's take a look if I can find the app now for this. So I'm going to go pop open the Play Store, and we're going to look for the Razer Kishi app. And I just upgraded this to the new, the latest version of Android, this phone. And then we'll try the Xbox stuff out and see how that goes. But yeah, there's like huge travel here. And it's also for the analog trigger. Look at that. Just a ton of it. I don't know if that's bad or not. I mean, I guess it's what you're used to, right? I'm just not used to that much travel. So it looks like they, like the backbone, have a little launcher here. So let's see, there's launcher and there's discovery. So the launcher, manually add games, explore extensive list of fully supported games in the discovery tab. And so they've got a bunch here that have been curated. So this is kind of like what we had earlier. Now controller's connected. Is there any way, let's check the firmware. So there's a firmware check here. Using a guest account where all settings are anonymous to us, but using our software, you also agree to our terms of service. Okay. So I'm hitting this, but it's not doing anything. Maybe you have to use your Razer ID in order to, I don't even remember what my Razer identification is, but let's see if I've got one in my LastPass. Oh, great. Hang on a second here, folks. And let's take a look and see if I have a password on here, which I don't think I do. Okay, so now we're going to have to disconnect with different means here. Ugh, such a pain. I don't want to do that. Let's connect with Google real quick and see if that'll work. I'm not sure what I'm going to be agreeing to here, but the one problem is their software is so intrusive. Like every time you plug a keyboard into the computer, it pulls up their app. It's like a whole big deal. All right, so let's go into my. Let's check for the firmware here and see if yes, it's not letting me check the firmware. It just doesn't respond. But it looks like the app doesn't actually have any configuration options, as was noted. It's really just like kind of a launcher. All right, so let me see if I can find a game controller tester app, because I would like to just see how these things work. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything to configure it with. So game controller tester. There's a million of them. So let's do the one that's got 500,000 downloads, gamepad tester. We'll see how this works. And then we'll try out the Xbox stuff. And we'll see how that goes. Bob says, I need a fish tank in the background. I probably should get a fish tank, but then it's another mouth to feed. Hot Sauce and Video Games is here. Hello. Stephen Morris is here. Hello there. All right, so let's try out some gamepad testing. All right, let's see. This is test a. Oh, come on now. Google Pay. I don't want to do that. Okay, so this is just kind of testing the. This doesn't really give us much, does it? Not able really to test the. Let's try the PS4 mode. Say, these apps really have a lot of ads in them, huh? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to find some other apps to kind of test the analog sticks and stuff. But it does not appear as though you can make any changes to the controller itself. And in fairness, you can't do that with the backbone either, but they do have a configuration tool or a calibration tool. All right. So Hot Sauce had a tooth pulled. That stinks. Yeah, that's not fun. They keep trying to get me to pull my wisdom teeth out, but they're perfectly fine. There's no reason to take them out. I have 3 of the 4. I just never got one of them. Isn't that weird? All right, so why don't we find a game that I can play? Here, let's do Crackdown 3. Because that's one that I've got a game already started in. So we'll see how that goes. And this is the Game Pass Ultimate subscription. And if you have the cloud gaming beta, you can load up a lot of stuff. So Mike TV is wondering about the computers behind me. Yeah, so behind me is a Apple 2GS and a Mac SE30. They use floppy disks. In fact, the 2GS back there was my original from when I was a little kid. And that one, for many years, was only it would only work off of, I don't have the drives out in front of it, but it had a 3.5-inch and a 5.25-inch floppy drive. You could get a hard drive for it, but a lot of people did not have them because they were really expensive. So, but now I have that Apple 2GS back there has like some pretty cool stuff. There's been a lot of work on getting new hardware made for these old computers. And so I basically have a compact flash drive in there as a hard drive. It's pretty cool. All right, so I think, let's go back to my campaign that I had started already. And Bob liked my dad reply, yeah. There's too many creatures here that I've got to keep fed. And they're always hungry, constantly, all of them. The dog, the 2 kids, me, the wife, everybody. And everybody likes to eat different things, so it's crazy. But we're going to my dad's house for dinner tonight, so that's good. One less meal I got to think about. So Hot Sauce has 3 of his 4 also. They keep wanting me to take them out as well, but seeing how much of it. Yeah, sometimes, like, I think there are times in which dental work is necessary, right? But there's a lot of other times where I think sometimes they're looking for business. Like, we could, this tooth, you know, maybe in a couple of years you might need to do something with it, but. Now this is the Xbox Game Pass. So this is streaming right now from Xbox or from Microsoft. Feels good. There's always a lot of, there's always a bit of latency with this one because you're streaming from the internet, but it's good. Again, I just feel like there's too much travel in these sticks because you really got to move them a little bit before it actually starts registering. So here, check it out. So we're standing here, right? And then, like, I'm moving it, but nothing's happening. I got to kind of move it past this dead zone here. So I've already moved it, you know, what would have been the halfway mark on the backbone. And then it goes when you get it further out. So I got to look at a testing app for this. So Ben says, don't be anti-dental. I'm not anti-dental. I encourage everyone to go to the, I go to the dentist, believe it or not. I get a cleaning every 3 months because when I was younger, I did not go to the dentist as much as I should have. And so I had, like, this is about 20-something years ago, but when I got out of college, I had the dental experience from you-know-what. I had gingivitis, I had cavities, I had all sorts of stuff. It was not good. And I was really lucky that I didn't have to get surgery for my gum issues. So now I go every 3 months, and I've been on that schedule for the last 20-something years. And it's more than I probably need to at this point, but I do it because it just makes sense. And what's interesting is, like, when you neglect for that long, it creates a long-term issue. So one of the fillings that I had done 20 years ago was a big one. And so it was starting to crack, so I had to get a crown a few weeks ago, right? So that's the kind of stuff that happens. But the good news is I am in much better shape now. All right, let's try a different game. We'll try a little River City Girls next and see how that plays. I'll tell you though, this Game Pass thing has been a really good value. I get a lot out of Game Pass. Social Gamer in the Amazon chat says, I wish the controller wasn't more than $50. Yeah, I guess it's true. These things are a little pricey. My guess is that there's a lot of cost in the design because you got this mechanism that you have to put together. So there's definitely some cost, I think, to the development of it. Let's try. Yeah, we'll do a little No Man's Sky. See how that plays out on this. Oh, Ben says this is a Seinfeld reference. So here I am trying to correct myself. Yeah, I had really. I should get braces for my lower teeth. I just don't want to. I'm at the point now where I've had so much done and I'm so caught up. I just don't want to mess with it. So my philosophy is that if I don't need to, if it's not going to result in losing my teeth, then I'm going to kind of just roll with it. So my wife has braces right now, and she is miserable. She's had them for like 2.5 years. M. Fazil wants to know, is there any haptic feedback? Not that I can feel. I don't believe so. I'm ready. You says, I have this controller. My most memorable moment was my fiance and I went to Vegas for a vacation. Since she takes a while to get ready, I was playing Dragon Quest XI-S on my phone. Yep, that's what's good about these things. They're very portable. I have never liked playing games on my phone. I don't like the touch controls. It's just not been. I've never liked the touch controls. So to be able to grab a controller that you can just attach whenever you want, really is an attractive option for me. But that's a good story. So this is No Man's Sky, and this is through the Game Pass service. So this is streaming from Xbox right now, or from Microsoft. Let's see if we can find another planet to visit. I think there's other planets in this system. There's one over there. So why don't we go over there? So I play this mostly on the PC, and unfortunately you can't bring your save games from the PC over to the Xbox, but this is now on Game Pass. So I was playing one of the community, they have these community expeditions every once in a while, which are kind of fun. Because everybody starts in the same system together, so you encounter other players from the beginning. What I love about this game is that it's just so expansive, and these planets are huge, and they're all different. And they keep improving the game. Like, it's gotten better over time. Yeah, so I think, and I'm going to read up a little bit more on this. I will say that if you were looking, let's say you had an iPhone, because this comparison is to the backbone, which is only on the iPhone right now. So see you later. Yep. So I prefer the backbone to this, and the reason is that these sticks have such a huge amount of travel to them, and the dead zone is more than I would like it to be. But that's my personal preference. You might like a larger stick travel. And I'm guessing it would definitely give you more precision, but I think the travel on these sticks is even more than the Xbox controller is. Maybe it's more like the PlayStation's travel. Those sticks tend to have a little more travel to them, I think. Here, we'll set her down over here. There's a little... That's somebody's base. Yeah, so this was one of these community missions. So there was a lot of players that ended up in the spot, like in the same spot. And so they all built bases along the path. So Ryan's asking, since this works with the Xbox Game Pass for Xbox, shouldn't it also work with the PC? Yeah, I think there is a PC version, except the PC version that I have is the Steam version, so I don't think my save game can move over to it, but I should look into that to see if there's a way to transfer it. Because I would love to just be able to boot this up on my Xbox Series X upstairs. Because I have a PC that's really powerful upstairs, and it's just a pain to get it working on the TV. It's just, there's more, like you can't just turn it on, because I have one of these fiber optic HDMI cables, because the computer's on the other side of the room. So I have to turn on the PC, switch it over to the other display. It's like a whole set of things. And then the Windows HDR is still not right with the games in particular, so that's pretty, that's a pain. Ben's asking about the quality of the plastic. The plastic is good. It doesn't feel cheap to me. Again, my only concern is that it, because it has to be universal, it flexes a lot. So like there's a lot of movement there. But I guess if you get used to moving the control sticks in in the extreme positions here, that works better. But if you're doing the Xbox cloud streaming, it's great. Actually, I need to make a note of this. Issues. Social Gamer says, I'm glad you're mentioning the analog stick travel. I don't like long travel, hence my dislike for the PS controller. Yeah, so I guess that's what I'm feeling here, is that the sticks, although they're organized like the Xbox, the travel feels like a PlayStation controller. So maybe that's the feel that they were going for, right? Oh, there's a storm going on out here. Look at that. Let's get back to the ship. This is the kind of game that when I was a kid, I would have just been, even now I'm kind of engrossed in it, because I just like this planet hopping thing. But it's not a game that has any real start or finish. I mean, there's a bit of a start in that you've got to get yourself settled and everything else, but eventually it's just kind of float around the universe and do whatever. We'll go to this planet now, see what's on that one. So let that travel there. Jason's wondering, does it work with Call of Duty Mobile? That is a good question, and we will check that out in a minute. Cage is wondering about custom mapping software. I have to look through the settings for it. I know that on the iPhone, you can map the controls in the settings. But I'm going to have to do some research on the mappings for this one. It doesn't look like Razer has software that does that. And that relates to this question here as well. So I'm going to look into that as a question. And I'm guessing like button emulation for touch games, right? So I will research those two questions. And Anthony has another suggestion here of the FlyDiggy Wii 2T. There's some crazy names for these controllers. Look, I should have been paying attention to where my ship was going here. It's a pretty cool looking planet. Let's see if we can find a good spot to set down here. Looks like a valley here. And we will put her down right over here. So one thing they've added to the game recently is these enormous cliffs and mountains. So there's a lot more variety to the terrain. And they have a VR version that runs on the PC side. But pretty cool. Yeah, so it works. It works with the cloud gaming. Social Gamer points out that I looked up my membership and xCloud is available to you as an Xbox. Right, you have to have Ultimate. So you have to have the Ultimate, and I don't know if it's available to everyone just yet. Maybe I think it is, except the version that I was playing with in the web browser on the iPhone is not for everyone yet. I forgot exactly how they're rolling that out. And what's that thing? Is that technology or it's like a creature? Oops. So it's a inorganic object. It's like a rock. And what's up there? There's something up there. We should check that out. Got to get back in the ship, though, really, to get up there. And see, then you've got like day-night cycles, too, so it's becoming nighttime. See the sun setting behind the... It's a really pretty game. And these planets are getting more and more diverse. Initially, there was like, there was a couple different types of planets, but generally, like one planet looked like the other. Now they're starting to look a lot more different. There's a lot more variety than there was before. My ship is over here. There it is. But I like the Game Pass. I get a lot of value out of the Game Pass. And I'm playing games that I wouldn't have played otherwise. Like I said, my daughters and I have been playing River City Girls, which we're having a lot of fun with. All right, so if I hit, so you know what? This one has an Xbox button on it. See that? Pretty cool. That is neat. And Brandon says it's an iPhone. Yes, there is an iPhone version out now. And I was looking at them, and I figured, you know what? Because tonight you're going to see a review of the Backbone. So I thought I would get something like this for Android, and this is like the most popular one. So this is why I went with this one, to have one for my Android phone. But I will look and see if this is the same as the iPhone version, because for my review I can point out that there's the iPhone version of it. And I'm guessing they would probably play about the same, wouldn't they? I don't think they're making them all that different. And then you can see, I'll show you the list of games that are available on here. Let's go back to home. So if I go to cloud. So what's nice is they have everything nicely curated here. So they have like the most popular games on Game Pass. You can see what most people are playing the most of. Well, Skyrim's on there now. There's Forza 7 Motorsport. And what's nice, there's no real load times with any of this stuff. You just load it up and start playing. It's pretty good. All right, so why don't we take a look now at Call of Duty, because somebody asked about that. And I'm guessing there's probably going to be some huge update when we pop in here. Now, on the iPhone, it did let us use the Backbone controller. And what you had to do was you had to get through the tutorial with the touch screen, and then you could use the game controller. So I think that's the path that this one's going to take. So we'll let that load up. And Social Gamer says on Amazon, I appreciate the important work. Yeah, I try to dig into these things a little bit and see what's good and bad about them. So that's what I kind of aim for here. And we'll let this thing download. And Ben has 5 Razer keyboards. I've got 2, I think. I've got 2. I've got their one upstairs with the optical thing. Sapaya's talking, I wonder if this will work with the Lenovo Legion Dual. I think it will. There's still some room. So there's a little bit of room on this phone. This is the Pixel 4. I don't have the screen size. I think this is a 6-inch screen. So there's definitely some room for a slightly larger phone. But I did have to take it out of the case for it to fit. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. And that was the same issue we had with the Backbone. It didn't work with cases. And Jason said there's apparently some backdoor deal that Call of Duty and Xbox have for the Xbox controller drivers. Oh, interesting. It's also, can you imagine, like, now we're going to have controller exclusives, right? Like, do we need that in this world? It's crazy. Social Gamer has the same phone. Yeah, this has, I forgot this has the 90 hertz screen. That's right. This is a 90 hertz display on this phone. All right, I have to hop in with my account. I'm pretty sure I had a Facebook login on this thing, but I don't know. Oh, jeez. You know what? Let's go back. I have accounts everywhere, but apparently not here. Let's see. Authorization error problem. Okay, hang on. Let's go back to... Can't just be a guest here. I feel like I install this game on every phone I review, and then I'm constantly going through the tutorial every time. And I was almost positive that I had an account. So let's see if it remembers where I left off. Yeah, here we go again. Click this, click that. Spend money. Okay, here we go. So it looks like I'm in the game here. So these are actual people? Oh, this isn't working. It did work on the iPhone. Let's see. Settings, controls. Well, that's interesting because this worked on the iPhone, no problem. Let's see if that, yeah, nothing. All right, I'm going to have to dig into this a little bit. I'm going to do some research on that. Brandon Wall says it's a controller setting. So where would that setting be? Let's see. Controller settings. Starting off, you go to settings. Head to the controller part of the menu. Make sure. Okay, so starting off, head to the Call of Duty mobile app and go to settings. Head to the controller part. So I must have missed it. So let's go back and, oh, geez. Let it load back up again. Mike TV is wondering what cord do I have plugged in. This is just a charging cable, so you can charge it through that cable there. It'll kind of pass through. All right, so let's go back into settings here real quick. So there's controller. Okay, here we go. So MP, VR zombies. So why isn't it letting me use the controller? Settings, connect controller, okay. Please pair your controller with your device. Oh, isn't that weird? It's just not picking this one up. Yeah, so it's not seeing it. So let me look up this controller specifically. Let's see. As of now, Kishi does not support Call of Duty Mobile. So this controller doesn't work with Call of Duty Mobile. I'm sure there's probably some workaround where you can emulate it or whatever. That'll add probably some lag to the mix. but that's intriguing. Well, that's unfortunate. So there you go. Yeah, so I got a little bit of research to do on this, I think. We got to dig a little bit deeper into it. Let me take a few more questions if you have any. But we tested so far, you know, we had do I have Stadia? So I don't have a Stadia account anymore. But I don't know if I don't think I ever bought a game in Stadia. But I'm pretty sure that would work, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't think I have any games on there that I could play. And Jason says he's got a newer. Yes, this is the problem. I did find on the iOS side there's a lot of game controller compatibility, and if the controller is made for iPhone, then it works with everything. So, but there you go. Looks like that's kind of the common problem here. Everyone's tried it with that. Brandon wants to know that we try any emulators. You know, I did not try any emulators specifically, but I think I have RetroArch on here. Let's see. Just trying to see what I have on this phone. I haven't used this phone in a while, so I'm just trying to go. I updated everything today. I haven't really done much else with it. Why don't we load up RetroArch, and I'll put an emulator on here real quick. So we'll try that. I'm gonna imagine it would work. So let's install RetroArch. I'm installing the one from the Play Store just because it's quicker. And then I'll grab a ROM from my NAS device. So bear with me, folks. I'm just going to log into my NAS. And we'll grab, kind of on in a Genesis mood today. I'll grab a couple of Genesis ROMs. We'll do, so we did the mobile version of Sonic the Hedgehog already, but maybe we'll do some Strider. Maybe we'll do Strider and I'll do Truxton. Oh, Streets of Rage 2, that's what we're going to do. So let me download Streets of Rage 2. And then I'm going to grab Truxton because I miss Classic Game Room. What's the other name for Truxton? I forgot the name of that game. Tatsuin. Is that on here? I've got all these games, but I can never find the ones I'm looking for. Let's see, Tatsuin. There it is, Truxton. Okay. Download that one. And then we'll go into RetroArch, which just downloaded. And let's download a core. It's like the screen is huge on this thing. Let's go down to Sega Genesis. And I'm not sure which one people like to use. I'm guessing Pico Drive or Genesis Plus. Let's do Genesis Plus. And then we'll go back to home, load core, load content. Just got to figure out where it downloaded the. There we go. So I have Streets of Rage 2. Let's try that one first. Now we'll see if it detects the controller right out of the gate. I doubt it, but oh, there it goes. Razer Kishi. Picked it right up. I just got to turn off the on-screen things here, but so just ignore the screen. Is this game not like the best beat 'em up ever? And by the way, Streets of Rage 4 is very good too. If you haven't played that, that's on Game Pass. Oops, I hit the wrong button there. So A, B, and then. It's funny though how simple this game is now compared to some of the other ones. Like I said, my daughter and I have been playing River City Girls, and like there's so many different moves you can learn. so you basically level up your character, and then if you get money, you can go to the dojo and learn stronger moves. This one's pretty simple, although it's got that cool grabbing mechanic, right? So we can grab this guy here. I always love that move. You grab him, and oops, I'm rusty. Part of it is I'm used to the Genesis controller layout, which is different here. There we go. Boom. Love that move. Music is great in this game too. They really made good use of the Genesis sound hardware in this game. Now, you know, another neat thing about this game, and there's a few others that will fall into this category that I'm about to talk about. So if you buy on Steam the Genesis collection that they have there, you can extract the ROMs. So this is one of the few games that you can buy legally as a ROM file. And I've done that. I purchased this particular game. I owned the cartridge back in the day, but I bought the collection, and I was able to extract the ROM, and I actually was able to get that ROM to boot up on a real Sega Genesis too. But yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, the D-pad isn't bad. It's, like I said, everything on this controller feels big to me, and I think that was probably what they were going for. They wanted full-size controls. So let's try Truxton, see how that fares. Oops. I forgot how to get out of this. That's the pause button. What does that one do? I may not have mapped a control out of... I can go this way. There we go. Go right, up, down. How do I get out of this? Oh, can we pull this down? No, that's not what I want to do. Yeah, I gotta remember how to get out of this. We'll just close it out there. So I'll load it back up here again. We'll load that core, and we'll do Truxton this time. Load content. And maybe go here. I have Dolphin on here too. Truxton. Yeah, it picks it right up. Oops. This one had a auto fire mapped to the C button. Yeah, and I guess I could map, of course, the control sticks if I wanted to. It feels good. Like I said, the lag. Oops, wrong button. The lag feels. See how responsive that feels? I mean, again, until I measure it, I won't know for sure. But I don't have that run ahead work running right now. You know, this is like base configuration here. But it feels like as low latency as the backbone controller. It feels pretty good. But I will say I'm a little less enthusiastic about this one. I just feel, I think what it is that I'm not crazy about the control sticks. There's a lot of travel on everything on this. And if you like travel, you're going to love it because there's a ton of that. But the other issue with it is that it doesn't fit very well. As you can see, like it's wobbly. Just by the nature of it having to fit so many different kinds of phones. And as some have pointed out, there's a lot of phones that may not fit in it at all because they have big camera bumps. I've not played this game in so long. It's a hard game. It looks easy, but it's not, because you have one hit deaths in this game. And then after you die, all the power-ups you collect go away. So you saw that S that we picked up earlier? That makes your ship move faster. And after you die, all of the S's that you accumulated go away as well, so your ship moves slower. So the game obviously gets harder as you go further along. And when your ship doesn't move as fast, you can't get out of the way of things as quickly. So it gets progressively harder, and you're really punished for dying. Now that's the power-up. And I think you get a couple of those, and then your weapon upgrades, if I remember correctly. Or no, I'm sorry, the P was the speed increase, I think. Yeah, this is my favorite weapon. I like this one. Oops, sorry, the camera's getting out of focus there. Oops. Now watch. Oh, game over already. There you go. Pretty good stuff though, right? It's good. Yeah, so that is the Kishi. Let me show you how it undoes itself. So we can take the phone out like that. Now, like the other one, there's no the backbone. You can't adjust the position of the USB Type-C port, so it's kind of locked in place. And then when you're done with it, by the way, it stretches, so you've got some stretchiness to it. And so when you want to store it, you want to put these two tabs in like that. They kind of come together, and then you snap that in, and then it can be moved. And what would have been cool was that if this had been a Bluetooth controller, like it's actually somewhat comfortable, even though it's a little compact. It would have been kind of cool if it worked just like this, wouldn't it? But you can't do that. So to open it back up again, you undo everything and stretch it out and get your phone back in. Now I could try it with a smaller phone. Let's see if this one fits. This is the Pixel 4a. So this is the smallest phone that I own, and this one fits fine. And then the biggest phone I own fits fine too. But if I have the case on the big phone, you'll see that it doesn't fit. I can't even get it. It just doesn't work. So, oops. So like the backbone, you need a case. So Social Gamer says, me being impatient, the Xbox theme version linked here will take a week to get to me, while the default layout one will get there tomorrow. So yeah, so I guess the only difference is that this one has the Xbox button. And I guess this is part of the Xbox Cloud marketing push, where they've got a few of these controllers that are compatible. And this is now the third one that I've looked at that has some Xbox co-branding. Super chat from Isaiah Cox. Thank you very much. The fact that it doesn't have its own battery is super cool. Just keep it in your cars. Yep, that's true. Right, there's nothing that's going to die here, so it's always going to work. You're absolutely right about that. Same with the backbone here, too. You just take it out, plug it in, and boom, you're off and running. I got to say, though, like of the two, so let me put it this way. If Backbone had a version for Android, I would be recommending that one over the Kishi. I just really prefer this feel. And to some degree, they kind of took the ergonomics from the Nintendo Switch on this one, but that's not a bad thing. In fact, they've improved upon it. It's got a nice D-pad. I really like this controller, more so than I expected to like it. But on Android, you don't have this, so at least not yet. So this is kind of the only one there. Now, oh, so I did not know this. Civil says you can remove the rubber inserts there if you have an extra large phone. Okay, so let's take a look if we can do that. Is it like do they allow you to remove them, or is that an option? Let's take a look. Let me look at the instructions here. Attaching your phone, collapsing the controller. Does it come out easy? Oh, it does come out. Okay. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so look at that. See, this is why I do these things live. Let me make a note of this real quick. Can remove the rubber inserts. I had no idea you could do this, so check it out, everybody. That pulls right out. And then you can fit the phone with the case. Let's try that. Look at that. Now let's see how hard they are to get back in. All right, so now I've got the phone in the case. Oh, look at that. It fits. Look at that. Thank you, Civil. That was great. Problem solved. So that's great. I had no idea. See, I don't even think it mentions that in the instructions either. And of course, you don't want to lose the rubber thing, because if you have a phone without a case, then you're kind of SOL, right? And a little bit hard to get them back in, but not impossible. I'm guessing when I put a phone back in, it'll get it back into place there. But that is a great tip. And it's not glued in or anything, so they come right out. So that might have solved the problem that somebody had earlier with the camera bump. That is a great tip. Thank you for that. Thumbs up for you. Yep, and Jason said the same thing, so I'm going to give you some credit there too. And George makes a very good point here. That's it. Yep, they've got a lot more phones that they've got to, there's a lot more Android phones out there than iPhones for sure. And even between iPhone versions, like the iPhone 7 has the same form factor as the 8 and the whatever, right? They're all very similar. And then Jason says you have to remove these and put in different ones to fit a Razer phone. So I don't see any other rubber things in the box, but I could see that being one way to address the variety. Ronald here says that I've noticed that it causes my phone battery to die when not in use. Not sure if it's specific to mine. I will have to play with that and see. I wouldn't be surprised if it did do that, because there are probably some electronics that have to be powered on it, but I will look into idle power consumption. And I'll make a note here to demo. Yeah, this is why I like doing these live streams, because I get a lot of good feedback and help. And Jason says you can get additional rubber stoppers from customer service. And Brandon also noted that for the Razer phones. So they have custom rubber for their phones. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, this is some depth to this that I was not anticipating. And this has been out for a while, so like when I review this, I'll get people like, oh, this thing's been out forever. But, like for me, it's new. And I found sometimes it's not a bad idea to review something that has been around for a while, because there might be improvements since they first came out. So I'm just looking through some of the... Yeah, so this one is the designed for Xbox edition. But I think the only difference is that it's got the Xbox branded button there. And you know what's so funny about all these controllers? And I think this is what gets confusing for consumers. Now, this one you wouldn't make this leap, but the 8BitDo one you would, in that it's got Xbox branding all over them, but you can't use them with an Xbox, right? And again, this one, not so big of a deal because you're not going to stick your Xbox in here. But the 8BitDo controller that has Xbox branding all over it does not work with the Xbox. Another recommendation on the GameSir X2. Yeah, let me see if I can get my hands on that one. And another note about the customer service, to grab that. And Jason says the problem with the GameSir is the triggers aren't analog and the ABXY buttons are backwards. Oh, that's not good. Brandon got the standard Android one for his son. It was on sale for Prime Day for $60. Yeah, right now this one is $66. And it's funny, the Xbox one costs slightly less than the regular one. The regular one is $69, this one's $66. And Civil says the Xbox edition's buttons are slightly different, the colors, than the regular Android iOS one also. All right, so let me look and AccuBattery. Check out that AccuBattery app. And then Xbox version has different color buttons and an Xbox. I have a lot of stuff to research on this before I shoot the review. Maybe I'll do that later on today. And for Social Gamer, the non-Xbox one will take longer to get based on where he's located, so that's part of it. And George says the idle power consumption would make sense. Yeah, maybe it doesn't put itself to sleep. So maybe the assumption is that when it's connected, it's always on, right? And would probably slowly drain out the battery. But it's good they have a pass-through power connector there, so you don't lose the juice. So John says the buttons are backwards on the original USB controller like Switch, but in their app you can switch it to an Xbox layout. So John, are you talking about the GameSir or this one? Because the Kishi app here looks like it's only giving me options for the game launcher. Let's see about. Just going to see if I can figure out. I'll have to play around with this a little bit more, but not bad. Not bad. There's a lot of options out there for these USB game controllers, so that's good at least. There's a lot of choices. Requirements on this one is that you need Android 8 or higher. But other than that, it just works out of the box, except with Call of Duty Mobile. And Social Gamer says the letters are the same on the buttons, but the color is different on the non-Xbox one. So this one adopts the Xbox color scheme. And John is correct, because I could not find any way to remap the buttons unless there's probably some Android utility that lets you do that. I'm not sure. So we will have to dig into that a little bit more too. But yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I've got to do some more research here for the review. So I'm going to go work on that in a little bit. Oh, Jason will let me borrow his game, sir. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Send me an email at Lon@Lon.TV. I'm probably going to wait about a week or two just because I don't want to become the game controller channel. Because we're looking at so tonight's review is of the Backbone. And like I said, this is the iPhone thing, but I like this one a lot. I'm really happy with it. Because I was expecting to review it and then just sell it like I usually do. But it's been really good. The only downside is that if you have a case, it doesn't fit. And there's no way to take, is there a way to take the rubber off of this one? I don't think so. Yeah, because they said in their guide that like you have to have the phone out of the case. So there you go. All right. Well, everybody, I appreciate the help today. This was actually really helpful. And I'm going to go do some more research on this. Oh, John's asking a question because I can answer this one because I did test the Jungle Cat, would I consider the Kishi to be better than the Jungle Cat? And I think for phones that are not going to fit on the Jungle Cat, I do think this is the better of the two. Now, if you missed that review, the problem with the Jungle Cat is that it only fit a small number of phones that it had a case for. So the way the Jungle Cat worked is that it came with a case. There was 3 in the box. One was for the Razer phone. One was for the Galaxy, one of the Galaxy phones. I think there was 2 like Samsung cases and a Razer case. But if you didn't have a phone that had a Jungle Cat case made for it, it didn't work, didn't fit. So for that reason, this one's going to be a lot more usable because it should be more or less universally compatible. So I've got to poke into that. Mark Smith says, have I looked at shells supposed to have Windows Virtual PC and other OSs? I have not. Is that a cloud service? I need to look into that. Yeah, personal workspace is powered by cloud computers. I haven't seen this yet. Transform any device into a powerful, secure desktop. Oh, so it's is it your own, turn any, okay, so you log into their thing. So what's the pricing? Let's see. So you can do a basic with 1 processor, 2 gigs of memory, unlimited use plan, $10 a month. Huh. All right, I may have to dig into that. You're not going to play games on that, right? But it's good enough for a computer you can boot up in the cloud. I'll have to check into that. I have not heard of that. I'm going to add it to my list of things to put on my list of things to do. Yeah, I think anything that's simple is good for that. And Ronald points out that the Jungle Cat can be used as a portable Bluetooth controller. Yep, you could do that. So this one is definitely a little bit more limited in that it's wired only. Social Gamer, thank you for the overview. You have given me a lot to think about. The price now seems fair at the $66.49 price point. Thank you. I hope I was able to help you there, Social Gamer. Yeah, it was. What happened was I reviewed this one and I got interested in these controllers for phones. So that led me down the rabbit hole to this. So we looked at, last week we were playing around with this on a live stream, and I shot the video last week, and it's going up tonight at 6:45 p.m. So be on the lookout for that. So there you go. All right. Well, everybody, this has been fun. I'm going to go take my dog out for a walk and try to shoot a extras channel video, because I've got some time left in the day here. So I'm going to go do that, and then we're going to meet up with my dad for dinner. So that is the plan. But I appreciate greatly everybody popping in today and offering your feedback and help as we were playing around with this. And yeah, this was fun. Pac-Man, do I have a Discord server? So, sort of. Hang on, let me see if I have the address yet. I have not yet done anything with it, but Mark Dell has helped me get it set up. So if you all want to join it, I have no idea how it works yet. Let me see how this works here. So hang on, let me just do a quick. Okay, so I think, let's see, hang on one second. I'm going to try to figure out how to make this, get the link to this. Invite people. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to make a link right now, and then I will give it to you all. So if you go to Lon.TV/Discord, you can get into my Discord channel. And there's nobody there yet, so you all are like the first ones in. And then Brian Parker, who was my friend, who's a big supporter of the channel, has set it up. So I have not yet really learned how to do much with Discord, but we will get there. So there you go. And David got his for $50. Yes, that's a good price. If you get it for $50, that's a great price. Yeah, the backbone here costs $100. So this one's very expensive, but it kind of carries the Apple tax with it. So that's something to look at. And I got a follower here, Jack Demand. Thank you for following. And let's see, looking through a couple more comments here. That's weird that phone is ringing, because I disconnected. Oh, that's the other phone. Never mind. Yeah, long story. I'm reviewing a cordless phone for the Extras channel, and I hooked it up to my OB-Hi thing, and somebody's calling me, so I'll get back to them in a minute. Answer one more quick question here. Does it have a jack for audio? No, it doesn't. So the backbone does. The backbone will charge and will do audio. And again, this one's only iOS. This one just has the charging port, but no headphone jack. So you have to use your Bluetooth headphones for that. But the USB-C, though, is only data. It actually had a sticker that I've since thrown out to tell you that it only does audio pass-through. It does not do, power pass-through. It does not do audio. David Sosa, thank you for the follow on Amazon. Much appreciated. Yeah, they sent me, Amazon sent me a trophy right under there. That's my Amazon Live trophy. Isn't that cool? So that was very nice of them. All right, everybody, I got to go return that phone call now and get the rest of my day done here. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you all on the next one. All right, and yeah, keep those notifications checked on, because I pop on live 2 or 3 times a week, just randomly. You never know where I might appear. So that was my friend. He butt dialed me. Isn't that funny? So, all right, everybody. I will talk to you soon, and catch you on the next stream. Mash that like button. YouTube likes that. Cool. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.